Another element of my home theater 2.0 project is going to be to step up my processing above the Denon Marantz level that I've used for many, many years. So let's talk about what I'm thinking for that. So like I commented, I've been a long time Denon Marantz user. I've used Denon receivers and I've had Marantz preamplifiers in my system for several years now since I originally went to separates in this house. I started with an AV7702, used that for quite a while, but then I upgraded to the 7704 when I introduced Atmos speakers and those extra speaker positions to my system, and I've been using that since. It's been working great, I'm a fan of their equipment and so on. Now you might ask, well wait, you made all these videos about the trin-off, so just to confirm, yeah, I did have a trin-off in my system for a few weeks there, but the trin-off was only ever intended to be a demo. I was able to get it kind of as a loaner, a short-term loaner, to check out and experiment with and experience it. I never had any intentions of keeping it. I certainly hadn't bought it. It was, again, it was just a loaner demo, and so that's been out now for a couple of weeks or so. My Marantz is back in, but it's awaiting essentially its replacement and its upgrade. And so I'll say again, I'm not explicitly disappointed in the Marantz, but I am ready to step up to a next level type of processor, a next level type of brand, capturing some greater performance, some stronger features, some more advanced room correction, and that sort of thing. Technically, if you look online for some of the reviews that are out there, particularly if you're into the audio science review kind of stuff, you might see, well, Marantz is actually not a great brand. It kind of measures high in the distortion areas. Maybe that's some of the Marantz house sound, but a lot of people actually just run the Denon receivers in preamp mode. And to me, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of that. If I'm going all the way and I'm buying expensive amplifiers and I'm putting money into separates, I don't really want to buy a receiver. I want to buy a preamp. I want to buy a purpose-driven device, pull all of that other stuff out that has the quality and the features and so on to make separates worthwhile. If you're going to use a receiver, maybe externally amplify some of your most important speakers, in my opinion, your mains, your center, and so on. But you might as well just, at that point, use the receiver. What am I looking for in terms of my next preamplifier? And I haven't fully made that decision yet, but I've been doing a ton of research and doing a ton of shopping. What I can say is that I need 7.2.4 minimum processing with discrete sub EQ. I am going to go for at least 2 subwoofers in my subwoofer replacements, as I've talked about. Possibility for more, but we'll see. 2 is going to be at least the starting point. I've been doing all this zone 2 stuff, and right now my home, my theater zone and my living room zone are running as a main and a zone 2 off of the Marantz. So I definitely want to keep that capability. I like that functionality for the time being, and I want to stick with it. So whatever I replace the Marantz with needs to be as capable or more in the area of multi-zone for audio and for video. And not all higher end preamps do that. The Trin-Off, for example, did not have full faculties for a zone 2, despite all of its capabilities and all of its cost. Something else that's really important to me, because I am a gamer, up on top of my rack here I've got a PlayStation 5, I've got an Xbox Series X, I've got a high-end gaming PC and a Switch, is I want a path for HDMI 2.1 switching. My TV in the living room is already an X900H Sony, has HDMI 2.1, 48 gigabits. Hopefully sometime in 2022 maybe, there'll be an opportunity to replace the JVC NX7 projector hanging in the theater with one of the NZs. That's going to have HDMI 2.1, full bandwidth, gaming related features. So whatever I buy, might not have it today, but I want to make sure that it has a pretty darn good path to getting HDMI 2.1 in a relatively timely manner. And again, I'm looking for some higher audible performance, something that maybe is a little more tweakable and more powerful with regards to tuning, equalization, and its general configuration and capabilities and that sort of thing. Again, looking to go kind of upmarket, above that Denon, above that Marantz level with this purchase. Of course, I am still sticking to separates. As I talked about in my amplifier video, that's one area of my system that I just invested a bunch more money into, stepping up from my single Emotiva amp, driving all the channels in my theater, to now 3 Parasound amplifiers that'll be driving the theater and actually driving the living room as well. So I want 100% preamp, not a receiver in preamp mode again. So I've been cross-shopping a lot of stuff, and I've mentioned it in some of the videos earlier on the channel as well. Anthem, I would say, is my leader. I've written in comments to multiple people, and I've made the statement a bunch of times that I'm very, very, very drawn to the Anthem AVM 70. I just helped a friend set up a MRX 540 receiver in his starter 2.2 channel setup, and I thought that went really well. I liked using the device. I like its interface. ARC looks great and has a really high pedigree of quality and capability as equalization programs go. So that's definitely one of the leaders, one of the high ones on my list. I'm also looking at Arkham, again at Emotiva. I've looked at NAD and others as well. But again, I think that AVM 70 kind of sits at the top of the heap right now, is a very balanced choice in terms of what it can do and its price. And it ticks all the boxes that I mentioned. ARC, very powerful, flexible equalization capability. It's a great looking box. I really, as a software developer, I really like nice UIs and using things that present very well and have a high degree of capability and usability. It ticks that box. And Anthem has already said that they have a path to HDMI 2.1. The device will get upgraded for hopefully a nominal fee, but that's coming. $3,800 on an AVM 70. That is a cost step up from the Marantz, but it's not bank breaking, right? It's not in turn-off area, and it's still under $5K. And I think that purchase is in balance both with my plans for the amplifiers stepping up to the Parasounds and for the speaker plans that I have in the room that I'll talk about in detail in another video. The other thing I like about the AVM 70 as well is it is a relatively new refreshed model. It's been out maybe about a year or so. I think that platform, that device is going to be supported for a long time. They have the AVM 90 coming. It hasn't even been released yet, so there's still new models coming in the same line, in the same architecture. Anthem has really standardized their whole product set now around this like generation that the AVM 70 sits in. So it's new enough that it's going to have a nice long roadmap ahead of it in terms of features and support and capabilities and so on being added. But it is just old enough that a lot of the initial shipment bugs have been worked out, and things that were missing and things that weren't working right have now been patched in software, and it's in a better state. It looks to me very much like preamps are another piece of technology nowadays that basically never ship working out of the box. Especially for a smaller volume, higher end, more niche type of company, it feels like every one of these companies struggles. The Arkham AV40, I was looking at that. That had a ton of growing pains, shipment pains when it first came out. And that looks like an interesting model as well. Since it originally came out now, it too has stabilized a bit. Emotiva preamps have kind of always hit the ground running, not at a sprint, but kind of at a stumble. So we'll see. I'm still looking for options. If you're using a high-end preamp that ticks some of the boxes and does some of the things that I'm talking about that I might have overlooked in my list, I know the Monoprice is out there as well. But go ahead and give me a recommendation in the comments. Tell me what you're using. Tell me why you like it. And I'll definitely think about it in terms of my next steps. But given I have the Marantz in there working, I've got a lot of other things planned for the room that I'm going to be kind of taking action on first. I can run the Marantz for a little while longer, but I will look to get this new processor replacement in there, whatever it is. Still on a relatively short time horizon, but it's not the most immediate thing that I'll be swapping out. And I am a little bit more interested too in checking out one of the devices with Dirac. Dirac gets so much love as probably amongst the top level, below the Trinoff, but way up there in terms of flexibility and capability for an equalization in a room setup system. I wouldn't be sad, or I wouldn't feel like I'm going with less to go with the AVM 70 and go with ARC instead. So again, if you're using a great preamp, let me know about it, post it in the comments, and we'll see where I go with this decision. Obviously, whatever I buy, it's going to get unboxed, it's going to get reviewed, and I'll talk about the usability in full coverage of whatever ends up going into the system here. So thanks for watching. There's a couple more of these videos about my planned upgrades, and then we're going full steam ahead. Home Theater 2.0, whole new echelon, higher level of performance, presentation, and capability. And I'm going to be blowing it all out on the channel in the weeks ahead. So stay tuned. Please come back, like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.